Good evening, everybody. This is Cutler, and some of you refer to me as Let's Talk to Cutler. And you know we're here every Tuesday and Thursday, and for the next 1800 seconds you have me, I'm with you in your car, your living room, your dining room, your kitchen, your den, your family room, wherever you will allow me to be, I'm willing to share that space with you. I want to ask you this as we talk on today, November the 3rd. Are you one of these people who have a high need to know? You just feel like you need to know all the details of your life. You have to know what's going on. Otherwise, you don't function well. And then I want you to think about and tell me this. What is your philosophy about owing people? What is your philosophy about owing people? Do you think you owe anybody anything? Do you think that other people owe you? And then, are you one of these people who just have to argue about everything? You have to fuss and argue and make your point known about every single thing that is. For the next 1800 seconds, we're going to talk about that here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. And I will be right back and we'll chat in just a few.
Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
All right, we're back. And again, this is Cutler on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. Let me see who the LTTC VIPs are going to be this evening. Let me take a look and see who they're going to be. And I'm just going to chat the name up in our chat conversation, our chat room this evening. By the way, I want you to know that we are basing our conversation from this book. We're basing our conversation on this book, rather, Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. If you don't have your copy yet, just run on over to Amazon.com and get it. It's my latest book, came out back in June. Or you can go over to my website, www.gbcutler.com and get it. I say that and I pronounce it like that because a lot of people will sometimes transpose the T and the L, but it's www.gbcutler.com. All right. Hey, y'all, I'm going to get started. Again, I'm going to acknowledge the LTTC VIPs in the chat room. But I want to ask you this because here we are, November the 3rd. You know how we do for the next 1800 seconds. I'm with you in your living room, your dining room, your car, your kitchen, wherever you allow me to be. But today is a very, very pivotal day in this country of ours. So I want to go through the sources of motivation and inspiration. I want to chit chat. I want to see if there's anything significant about today, all right? But let me ask you this. Let's go into November the 1st, and I want to read that. Again, I want to know, do you need to know all the details of your life? I ask that because the quote for November 1st says, I don't worry about not knowing the details of my life. I don't worry about not knowing the details of the story of my life, rather, as long as I know the author and the finisher. Of course, you all know, you can probably guess where that comes from for me. It is about having faith. So when I wrote that, I wrote from the perspective of having faith and about being able to trust. And it's about being able to persevere even when you don't know where you're going. There are some moments in life, you all, there are absolutely some moments in life where you just don't have all the answers. You always don't have all of the resources. You don't have all of the knowledge, and you don't have all of the manpower or the woman power. You don't have the strength, but you don't have to let that stop you. Just because you don't know all the details about the story of your life, that is no reason for you to feel hindered and to feel like you can't go and to feel like you are stunted and to feel like you are stopped and to feel like you are prevented from moving further. Absolutely no reason. There are some times when I go out on a walk, and when I'm taking a walk, there's some days when I don't know how long I'm going to walk. I don't know where I'm going to walk, but I will just allow the walk to dictate where I go and how long I'm going to be there. It's like that sometimes in life, you all. You don't know what life is going to present. You don't know how long it's going to be presented, but all you know is that you're walking out this thing that's called life. You're walking out this thing called life, and you don't know, but you're still going. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know how it's going to end up. You don't know the end all be all. You don't know all of the results. You have hope and expectations and ambitions and aspirations, but there's some things that we just don't know, but we still keep walking even when we don't know them. We got to do that. And in terms of my life, I'll be very honest. I'll be very transparent with you all. I honestly don't need to know the details, because if there were some details that I knew, I would probably abort the mission. I mean, that's just me. That's just me being honest. I would probably give up on the journey. If I knew all of the details, if I knew everything that I was in store for, there are some things in my life that I've come through. If I knew that I had to go through those things, I would have tried to detour and go another way. Because thank God I didn't know all of the details, because there was something, there was a character building lesson in that for me. Whatever it was, there was something that built my character, that gave me a little more fortitude, the ability to the wherewithal to deal with life. If I had known some of the things that I was going to go through, I would have aborted the mission, given up on the plan. And who knows where I would have been then. So I'm telling you, knowing the details and the plan, that doesn't concern me. It doesn't concern me at all, but knowing the planner is what concerns me. I don't have to know the plans, but as long as I know the planner, that's what concerns me. There are some details that I just don't worry about. That's why I'm asking you, how many of you all feel like you have to know all the details about what's going on in your life? Because you say, if I don't know this, I can't function. If I don't know that, I don't know which route to take. There are some things that I just don't need to know. Now, I'm not saying that I don't plan. Absolutely, I plan, because I believe that if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. That's just one of my philosophies, that if you don't plan, that if you fail to plan, you know how the saying goes, then you can plan to fail. But that's not me. But here's what I'm saying. I don't need to know every detail. For example, I don't inspect every chair that I sit in. I don't inspect every car that I get in to drive. I don't inspect the remote control when I pick it up. I just don't do that. But when it comes to the chair, when it comes to the car, when it comes to the remote control, I don't inspect, you all, but I expect. And that's how it is with me in life. I don't inspect all of the details, but I do have an expectation. And the expectation is that where I am and where I have to go, God is going to get me from point A to point B. That's just my conviction. That's just my expectation in life. So I don't have to inspect the details when I have expectation. I don't have to inspect. I really, really don't. Because for me to try to take over the details, I just can't handle that. But what I do, I trust the God of my life. I trust the God of the details of my life, that He is going to take me where I need to go. Whatever I need to go over, He's going to take me over. Whatever I need to go under, He's going to take me under. Whatever I need to go around, He's going to take me around. And for God's sakes, whatever I need to go through, He is going to take me through. I expect that. And I don't need to inspect all of the details about how He's going to do it. I just let the planner handle those things. I really, really do. I really do. You all know that's probably why young ladies, when they're getting married, they hire a wedding planner, because they don't want to be bothered with all the details. They just furnish just enough information so that the planner can handle things. Well, if we can do that, if ladies can do that, and young people who are getting married can do that with a wedding planner and an event planner for all kinds of birthday events. When I was planning, getting ready for a milestone birthday in my life, it was about turning it over to an event planner. If we can do that with our natural lives, then we can do that with our whole entire life when it comes to the one who knows all the details. You plan it and let me walk it out. You work out all the details and meet me along the path. That's how it is for me. I'm telling you, that's how it is for me. Because when you are part of a team, you learn how to play your position on the team. You know what your role is on the team. No matter how big or how small the team might be, you learn how to play your position on that team. And when it comes to me and the planner of the details of my life, it's a team of two. And what I've learned over my life, I've learned that I'm okay with not knowing, because I've watched people walk by faith. And I've seen them succeed when they walk by faith. And so it is the same way with me. I trust that the same one who can plan out the details in their lives can do the same thing for me. I just have hope. I have expectation. And so my part on this team of two, it's not that I have to know the details. I don't have to know the details about how I'm getting from point A to point B. I just need to know that it's already mapped out. It's just mapped out. And all I have to do is walk. All we have to do, you all, is just walk. I don't have to have a headache. I don't have to have a heartache. I don't have to have a heart attack because I don't know the details. Because at this point of my life, I'm telling you, I believe that wherever I am and wherever I am to go, God goes before me. That's just how I operate. Wherever I have to go, I believe that God has already gone there before me, and He knows the way that I take. And because He knows the way that I take, He knows how I'm going to get there. And something about knowing the way that I take, it satisfies my soul and it relieves me of anxiety, because here is what I know. Since God knows the way that I take, He knows all of my steps, He knows my stops, and He even knows my stumbles. So I don't worry about those details, because guess what? When I stumble, He's God enough to pick me up. When I stop, He's God enough to give me energy. He's God enough to renew my faith and to renew my energy and propel me to go just a little bit farther. That is my resolution when it comes to life. I resolve to follow the plan of the detail planner. I really do. Because what I know about His ability to plan my life is that He just didn't he just didn't begin it, but He also has a plan. When God wrote out the plan for my life, He wrote out a plan for a victorious end. And that's how we have to see His working in our lives. I'm telling you, when He wrote out the plan, just know that He wrote out a victorious end. He really, really did. He just didn't start the story of our life. He just didn't start the story of your life or my life, but He knows how to command the end to come together to a victorious and a glorious end. And He has promised us that it will conclude with good and not of evil. How do I know? Because the same thing that He said to Jeremiah, He said to us, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. I know the plans that I have, and they are of good and not of evil. You all know I only have 1,800 seconds to be with you, and we are, we're basing our conversation on this book, Billboards to Better. If you don't have it, run over to Amazon and get it. But I'm telling you all, don't get caught up in needing to know the plans. Just don't get caught up. Don't have a headache. Don't suffer anxiety. Don't have to take sleeping pills just because you don't know the details of the plans of your life. God is the author and the finisher. He really is. All right. So let's move on to November 2nd. Let's move on to November 2nd. And it says, we satisfy our debt to God partly by loving our fellow man. That is our quote for November the 2nd. We satisfy our debt to God partly by loving our fellow man. That's interesting. That is really interesting. You know, sometimes we like to partially quote people or scriptures or great literary works in part. But when we do so, we don't always give the full context of the quote that we are offering. And there is a scripture, there's this one scripture, and it says, oh no man, anything except to love him, because by doing so, you have fulfilled the law. That is the whole scripture. Sometimes we start with, oh no man, nothing. And we think it pertains to monetary obligations. But it talks about our responsibility, our accountability to each other as humans, as brothers and sisters in what we call the human race, because we sometimes forget that there is a higher calling on our lives. We forget that there is a higher calling on our lives to love people. We forget that. We are expected to love people. And love, one of the things I know about love is that love never seeks to hurt people. Love does not seek to trap people. Love does not seek to ensnare people. I'm telling you this. And when love discovers, love doesn't hurt people. And when love discovers that a person has been hurt, love seeks to never repeat that again. That's what happens when we love people, when we cherish people. I'm not talking about liking people that we have this endearment and we just like their company, we enjoy the company, but I'm really talking about having a deep concern. That's what love is, having deep concern and being drawn to people. So when love discovers that an individual has been hurt, love will cause you not to strive not to repeat that behavior. And it is against this backdrop that I will determine, I'm just being transparent for the moment. It is against that backdrop that I will determine whether people love me or not. Because when you know that you're hurting or participating in behavior that hurts me, then I question whether you love me. That's just me. This is Let's Talk to Color, but I want to hear you. I want to read your input as well, but that's how I operate. And then for me, from my vantage point, from my perspective, if you are unaware that your actions have hurt me, but when I make you aware, you continue to seek to justify your behavior, then again, I question whether you love me. I really do. I will question whether or not you love me. If you're hurting me and you're participating in behavior that hurts me, I question whether you love me. And then if you don't know, but I make you aware and you try to justify your behavior, again, I question whether or not you love me. And if you say that you love me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but then your behavior and the demonstration of your beliefs suggest something different on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, guess what? I question whether or not you love me. And here is the honest truth. I have not lived this long without being able to reach this resolve, but this is the truth about me. I'm okay with anybody not loving me. I really am. I'm okay with you not loving me. But there is one ask that I have. There is one demand that I have. There's one request that I offer. And that is, if you don't love me, then just at least leave me alone. Be done. Be done completely with me. And I don't need you occasionally peeping back into my life trying to see what's going on. I don't. Let's just cut the cord. Let's just cut the cord, that we don't need any connection. I don't need you occasionally peeping back into my life to see what's going on. I don't need you trying to manipulate me into having an occasional audience with you. I don't need or want any of that. I don't need you trying to get any kind of temporary redemption. Not at all. Not at all. Because if you prove, and you all, I'm telling you, if you prove, when people prove that they don't love you, I don't know about you all. Let's talk to Cutler family and friends and my brothers and sisters. I don't know about you all, but maybe you all gonna say, Cutler, wow, I really didn't know you were that harsh. But I'm telling you, if you prove to me that you don't love me, then guess what? I don't need you, I don't want you, nor do I trust you. I really, really don't. If you prove to me that you don't love me, then I don't need you, I don't want you, and I don't trust you. I don't say that I can't forgive you. I don't say that I can't love you from a distance. But the reason I don't need, want, or trust you, because if you don't love me, you'll try to hurt me. So I don't need anybody who's going to try to hurt me. I don't want anybody who's going to try to hurt me. I don't trust anybody who's going to try to hurt me. If you don't love me, then you're prone to try and deceive me. I'm telling you all this. If you don't love me, you'll try to manipulate me. Why in the world are you talking about that? Because here's the thing, we satisfy our debt to God partially by loving our fellow man. It really, really is true. And so then we have this expectation, we have this higher calling to love people. But when people show you that they don't love you, I'm just trying to give you the other end of the story to tell you how to respond. Don't get caught up in a downward spiral when people prove to you that they don't love you. When they prove to you that they don't love you, let them go. Let them go. Forgive them, yes, but let them go. Love them, yes, but let them go. And I'll tell you this a little bit about me. I keep telling y'all so much about me, but this is the truth. I am a master at loving from a distance. I really am. I'm a master at two things: loving from a distance and meeting the minimal requirements to love. And people may get upset with you, they get upset with me for loving myself enough to leave them alone. But learn to master the art of loving from a distance. You can pray for people. You can love people, but that does not mean that you have to trust them. That does not mean that you have to want them to be a part of your inner circles. Don't let people manipulate you into their divisive ways of thinking about what love is. You know when you can love people from a genuine heart. Don't let people say, well, you know, if you love me, you'll let me back in your life. No, not necessarily. Absolutely not. Because while I love you, I also love myself. And I love myself enough not to be manipulated. I love myself enough not to be deceived. I love myself enough not to be hurt. Not again. Not again. I'm telling you all, it is okay. Do you all think, put it in the comments. I just need to hear it. Do you all think it is okay to love from a distance? You've heard my thoughts. I just wonder what you all think. Do you think, put it right in the comments, because you know I only have how many seconds? Right, 1800. So I want to know, do you all think it's okay to love from a distance? I really want to know. All right. So then listen, y'all, I got to move on to the next one. Because it's November the 3rd, election day. It is November 3rd. And I promise you all, I did not look at what this day was going to be before I wrote this quote. This quote says, don't argue with people about what you believe. What better day to say that? Don't argue with people about what you believe. But the end of this quote says, just tell them that God said it, and then leave them to argue with God. Don't argue with people, leave them to argue with God. I promise you all, I did not look at the calendar to see that this is election day. When I wrote this, I had no idea that it was going to fall on this day. But if no other day, this truly speaks the sentiments of my heart. I don't argue with people about what I believe. I'm telling you this, I don't argue with you, but I will allow people to engage me. And sometimes I might even ask permission to engage them, but I'm never coming to blows about what I believe. Absolutely not. I'm not going to get in fisticuffs or a hand fight or battle or any of that about what I believe, because before I allow that to happen, I would discontinue the conversation and, if necessary, the affiliation. I don't have to argue with people, not about what I believe. Absolutely not. And I hear people say during this season, the times that are happening, oh, so you mean you would really cut me off over some things? There are some things that are worth cutting people off over. And you have to decide for you what that is. But I'm telling you, for me, when it comes to my faith, I will defend it until the day that I die. I will defend my faith until the day that I die. But if you choose not to believe it, that's up to you. And I am not going to spend a lot of unnecessary energy trying to explain to you the things that might be open for interpretation. I'm not going to do that. That's just me. And so not only when it comes to my faith, but when it comes to my freedom, I'm going to do the same thing. I will defend my freedom until the day that I die. Absolutely. I come from a people who will do that. I'm telling you, some of y'all have been with me long enough to know that my great-grandfather was the son of a slave. And I had the opportunity, I had the privilege of spending 16 years of my life talking and sitting at the foot of a slave. Not only him, but his brother. So I had the opportunity to talk to 2 children of a slave. Absolutely. And so then to come from that ancestry, to come from that lineage, I understand what it means to fight for one's freedom. I really, really do. So then, no. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue over some things. I'm just not. When it comes to my freedom, I'm not going to argue over that. Because you see, if I, and you too, my friends, if we engage people on any level, I know for me, if I engage people on any level, I will offer them, I can offer people the opportunity to see if our views and our values are in alignment. I really can. And I hope people will do the same thing for me. I hope that people will do the same thing for me. Give us the opportunity to see if our views and our values are in alignment with each other. And then I can offer, and I don't mind people offering me the opportunity to see if our integrity and our character mirror and match each other. I don't mind that. I love the opportunities to have conversation when I can determine, or when we can sit and see if our character and our integrity mirror each other. I love those kinds of conversations. I really, really do. I offer people the opportunity, and I hope they offer me the same thing to see if we can be made better by the presence of each other in each other's life. I love doing that. Again, but I have become the master of something else as well. Not only am I the master of loving from a distance, as I said based on our previous quote, but I'm also the master of what I call a quick release. Absolutely. When you demonstrate to me that your ideals never match your practices, quick release. When you say one thing but you do another, quick release. When you talk the talk but cannot walk the walk as it pertains to your affiliation in my life, quick release. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you know what, you all? Sometimes you can talk until you are blue in the face. I only got 1,800 seconds and they're almost gone, but I want to end by telling you all this. Sometimes you can talk to people until you are blue in the face and it will never matter. They will not be persuaded. They will not think differently. They will not reconsider positions. And I hope as I'm saying that, I'm really doing an inventory to say, well, Cutler, are you like that as well? Absolutely not. I can be honest with you. When people talk to me, I have reconsidered my positions on things. I have reconsidered my response and reactions to things. I've reconsidered what really should be important. I really, really have. But when people never do that and you talk until you blue in the face and you realize that they're not going to change their position, sometimes, you all know I've said this before, you do your part and leave the other part up to God. And sometimes it's like that when it concerns people. Do your part and leave the other part up to God. Because people are going to believe, some people are going to believe what they want to believe. You can tell them today is November the 3rd, and some people are going to say, well, you know, somewhere it's November the 4th. I'm not arguing about that. Absolutely not. Some people are still going to believe what they want to believe. Some are going to do what they want to do, and some will continue to be who they already are. You all, I don't have much longer. I don't have much longer. So I want to close like this. Listen, we have been talking based on this right here. Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life, written by yours truly. But I want to end like this, because we've been talking about, don't worry about the details of the plans of your life. You don't have to worry about that. Some things you just got to walk out by faith. Sometimes you have to walk things out just having trust and hope. And then we've talked about how we satisfy our debt to God partly by loving people. Do you know that what you do to people, that vicariously is what you do to and for God? It is really, really true. So part of our service to God is rendered based on what we do to people. That's why it's important to treat people right, because God is watching. That's why it's important to handle people right, because God is watching. People who say that they love out of their mouths, but they hate with their behavior, I question whether or not you love me. And then, of course, we talked about don't argue with people about what you believe. And if there's ever been a better time for me to reach a resolve with respect to that quote, it is now. It is absolutely now. Because it seems like we are topsy-turvy, turned upside down. It seems like people support hate in the name of love, support right, or support wrong in the name of right. I don't get it. But what I do, I will offer people, somebody told me, Cutler, when you're up here talking, sometimes it really is okay to wipe your face, because y'all know I would talk myself into a sweat. I do it because I only have 1,800 seconds. And so, and with this 1,800 seconds, y'all know I got to make every minute matter and every second significant. So I want to end by sharing this poem with you. It's sort of tongue in cheek, but it is from this book, this particular book that says who we once were. And the name of the poem is Does It Matter? It's sort of a funny sing-song rhythmic kind of poem, but its application will show you that sometimes it does not matter. All right, does it matter? If I were grass instead of a tree, if I were coffee instead of tea, would you stay or would you flee? Would you feel bound or feel set free? Would you hate me? If I were black instead of white, if I were day instead of night, would you do wrong or would you do right? Would you concede or stand up and fight? Would you like me? If leaves were red and blood were green, if lions were gentle and sheep were mean, would this all change the scheme of things? If a dove were a crow and a crow a dove, if love were hate and hate were love, would this then change the things above? If she were me and I were he, if he were you and you were she, would you love him, her, or me? Does it matter? You all, this has been Cutler on this Let's Talk to Cutler platform. I've been with you for the last 1,800 seconds in your living room, your dining room, your cars, whatever space you will allow me to share. If you have not already done so, I trust that you will click on the like button below. If this is your first time visiting, or first time sharing with us on this platform, thank you so much. But do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe, and then click on that bell so that you can be made aware anytime that Cutler just happens to pop up. And to all of my Let's Talk to Cutler family and friends, do me one more favor if you don't mind. Yeah, I want you to share this, but do me a favor. Go back and look at the videos if you would, and take a look at least on those that I call the little pop-ups and the inspirational moments. Take a look at some of those because I don't always reference those from this platform, but take a look at those. And if you like them, do a thumbs up for me. It just makes me feel good about those inspirational moments and lets me know that you see them, that to some degree, you are feeling inspired. Thank you all. Listen, until Thursday, you all do what we do. Let's continue building community, maintaining connectivity, keep your heads up, keep your hope up, stay safe, stay sane. Until Thursday, I will see you then. Greet somebody as we come to an end and say good night.